The indie comic book publisher Rippaverse has released the second issue of their anthology series, The Rippazine. It features fake advertisements for businesses within their fictional world, as well as previews of Gooding the Polymath and the Horseman. Not to mention a new short story featuring Saoirse, a brand new femme fatale. This is my honest review, and it's spoiler free. Hi everyone, my name is Jake Berry. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications and consider becoming a channel member. All right, so I'm a huge fan of the Rippaverse. I just recently discussed how their upcoming release, The Horseman, has gone over $500,000. It has even done better since just that video last week. So I'm very excited to talk about the Rippazine issue 2, which features so much cool stuff in it, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. So I'm going to read you the review I wrote on my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, so you get an idea, and then I'm going to just add a couple of thoughts to it, as well as show you the comic book. So it came out in 2 editions, which is the mass market version, as well as the collector's edition, and that's the one that I have here. This is a fantastic cover, by the way. One thing that you can never fault on the Rippaverse is they always go above and beyond when it comes to the covers. It is very impressive. They're very colorful and they are eye-popping and they immediately grab your attention, especially this one, as you can imagine. All right, so like I said at the outset, we get a preview of Gooding the Polymath, and I've previously reviewed it both on here and on my website, StudioJakeMedia.com. And so there's not a whole lot to say there, but it was really cool to see Gooding. He's a character that kind of became famous. The fan base really loved him, and so I'm glad that he is getting all this attention. He's really cool, but I don't need to rehash that because it's a preview from that graphic novel. Like I said, it also features kind of fake articles and advertisements for different clubs in it. For instance, we have Lillian's Hot Tea, and it's like just an article from that character who is a very minor character, but still it's really neat to see. But the thing that excited me the most is we also get a look at their upcoming release, which is going to be The Horseman, written by one of my favorite comic book writers, Chuck Dixon, as well as Joe Bennett. This is a street-level vigilante who, from the looks of it, he seems to be Batman combined with the Punisher. So he's got all the armor and weapons of Batman, but he has the mentality of the Punisher. So I think that's really cool. Dixon is perfect for writing those kind of street level stories, and Joe Bennett is an incredibly talented artist. I was very excited to see that. And I just want to say the Rippaverse is not afraid to try new things, and this anthology proves it. They do not just put in these short stories and these fictional ads from their universe, but they also have interviews with people. We get to see Kanan White. He does like a really cool artist demonstration. Kanan White is, of course, one of the top artists at the Rippaverse. We also get an interview with Gary from Nerdrotic. He talks about comic books and his love for comic books, and I think that's really cool. That has been very, very exciting to witness. Now, the top build story is, of course, they're introducing this new type of private investigator into the world of the Rippaverse, and we get to see Saoirse, who's like this femme fatale. She rocks it in her short story. She has to infiltrate a party for a client and all kinds of stuff. The trailer for this was awesome, by the way. Look at this amazing artwork. Eric July wrote the story, and Kanan White did the artwork for it, and they did a fantastic job. I'm really excited to see how Saoirse plays a role in the Rippaverse. My only complaint really about the anthology is I would have liked to have seen Salvage again. So Salvage was the PI introduced in the first Rippazine. I would have liked to have even gotten like a 1 or 2 page, just really, really short story about him. And I would have liked to seen Isom. Isom, of course, is the character who launched the Rippaverse. And I really think that we need to see more of him ahead of Isom number 3, just to build the expectation and the anticipation and the excitement. I think that would have been cool, but that's more of a nitpicky thing. That's not really a complaint as far as the quality of the anthology. I just would have liked to have seen them in it. So I conclude my website's review by saying, aside from that, I enjoyed reading the anthology. The short stories were compelling and cool, with the introduction of the new heroes being done with a lot of intrigue. Saoirse is one of the most interesting of the new characters since the second ISOM. I look forward to seeing her in new releases from the Rippaverse as Eric July and his team continue to expand. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I am all in for the Rippaverse. I've already joined the pre-order campaign for the Horseman. I think it's going to be an exciting new story. The Rippaverse is growing at an exponential rate, and it's all thanks to high quality stories like the ones we see in the Rippazine. I am so excited for what is going to happen with Saoirse, with the Horseman, and the future of Gooding. You know, we've seen him in the Isom stories, we've seen him in his own spinoff, and now we've seen him in the Rippazine Part 2 or Issue 2, whatever you'd like to call it. And I can't wait to see how his character kind of grows into it. I hope that they bring Mike Baron back to write the second one. Mike Baron is one of my favorite authors. He wrote one of my favorite Batman stories. He has done stories like The Punisher. He has also created his own superheroes like Nexus and the Badger, several ongoing comics like that, as well as several indie comics and novels. So I really hope he comes back for Gooding Part 2 or Issue 2 or Volume 2, whatever you want to call it. This is what indie comics is all about: making high quality one-offs and expansions and continuations and getting them to the customers in a timely fashion. They have great customer service. I've only had one customer service issue with the Rippaverse, and when I contacted them about the problem, they immediately got back to me and fixed it. There has been no issue since then. And so I really appreciate about them just their care for their fans, how much they like their fans, and that when their fans are like, hey, we're tired of redheads being replaced in media, immediately Eric July is like, hey, let's create a redheaded femme fatale. And I think that that is really awesome that they are doing stuff like that. I honestly hope Saoirse gets her own comic. Maybe not necessarily a continuation of the short story here. That would be cool for a future Rippazine release. But I do hope she gets her own standalone comic written by Eric July and drawn by Kanan White, because they've already made that the key thing here. I'm very excited to see what is coming from the Rippaverse. It's going to continue to get better, I think, and I am really glad. And just a word to the haters: calm down. Listen, you don't have to like the Rippaverse. I don't like certain other indie creators. Like I said, I'm all in for the Rippaverse, but other indie creators, I don't like them. I don't whine and moan and make videos about how much I hate them or hate their works. I just don't support them. And there's nothing wrong with that. Calm down, Rippaverse haters. I know it gets you trashy clicks and whatnot. Good for you, but come on. Let's all come together about the thing we love most, and that's collecting comic books. That's what the Rippaverse is all about: producing high quality comics and graphic novels that you can add to your collection. And it is something that I personally love about the Rippaverse. So A plus on Rippazine issue 2, and I look forward to Rippazine issue 3, as well as whatever else is coming from Eric July, the Suska sisters, and the rest of the amazing team at the Rippaverse. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. And by the way, Rippaverse, come to Phoenix. Phoenix needs to have a meet and greet. We would love to have you and host you and your whole team. So please consider coming by to the Great Southwest. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you like this video. Leave me a comment, tell what you think, share it out to all your friends, and subscribe. Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, to ring that little bell so you get notifications when I produce a new vidcast, as well as consider becoming a channel member where you get exclusive perks and many more that I'm building out. If you don't want to support me on Big Tech, click on the link to my locals community. It's in the description of the video. You can give me tips for articles that I post there, or you can become a monthly subscriber. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. You can also pick up one of my releases, which I have I have 3 novels and 1 novella, and it would really be awesome if you would do that and leave me a 5-star review wherever you purchase them. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.